Hey everyone, and welcome to this next edition of the Snapchat. I'm joined today once again by Reverend Cozy Snap. Cozy, this week we saw the launch of Sersi, a very decisive card in the community. I mean, listen, this is one of those cards that we played for hours and hours and hours trying to get like a handle on. And I gotta tell you, this was by far one of the most interesting release weeks we've had in a while. So I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts on Sersi, the latest card to come to Marvel Snap.
Oh man, dude. Well, let's go ahead and open up with probably to me right there with Pixie, a couple other ones. One of the most fun cards in the game. Like straight up, just so fun. It's just fun. It's so chaotic that it's fun. Now, when we evaluated it, as you remember, I gave it a 4-star. Definitely whiffed on that. I went and like I knew this would happen. I knew it was gonna be one or the other. It was gonna really stand out, and that variance was gonna be better than we thought. Or the opposite. And, even if there's a lot of good cards at every cost. But yeah, I gave her myself a 2.5. I felt like she was one of the hardest cards, though, for me personally to rank after a 24-hour period. Almost didn't feel right because you can have great games or bad games. But I got a lot to say here, but I want to give it to you. What do you think about it?
So first of all, I know you said like, oh, you went 4 and you whiffed a little bit. I think that this card, I don't think it reaches that level,
No.
but I do think that it's better than maybe like I kind of grew into it over
Same.
time a little bit playing it. It's really awkward. It definitely punishes you. I never felt confident snapping with it. And I do think that this card though was amongst the most fun I've ever had playing Marvel Snap. I played it for 8 hours straight, right? Prior to releasing my video. And I was not necessarily winning a ton, but I was having an absolute blast. And it kind of brought me to this point of like, man, wouldn't it be nice if cards like this were Series 4? Like really fun, enjoyable, maybe potentially one day competitive cards or, unreliably competitive cards. I don't think this is a consistently competitive card. I think it has so that magic sauce with the Void, I think is one of the key synergies it has in like an Annihilus space shell. But like, I had so much fun playing this card, and isn't that what it's about at the end of the day?
It is, and that's about at a good time. Like if you love the Mr. Negatives out there, like it's just a fun card. It's different experience. It's plug and play at that, which is also cool. I compared it to Legion a lot. Just the chaos, and Legion's a bit more controlled, obviously. But yeah, overall, I think I'd probably land on 3.5. I said in my thing, like, dude, it could go anywhere. This card could truly go anywhere. Not a 5-star. But I honestly, I played it strictly in the Annihilus package while she was bugged. And I can't tell you how many games I lost to because she was bugged. So many things did not transform for me, and it really hurt. But you gotta love that deck because of the Hood, Annihilus, and Sentry. All these are cards that you're completely fine if you end up transforming them. And definitely, what can I ask you? What cost did you enjoy turning into what cost the most?
You know what? I just gambled the whole thing. Like, obviously the Void turning into a 5 cost was generally pretty beneficial. That rarely backfired. I didn't get Modoked once, to be honest with you. I had some other crazy stuff happen. I actually had that bug quite often where cards weren't transforming, which was really weird, and that was a little unfortunate, but I think they fixed that. They did fix that. I can confirm that, actually. But I liked changing the Void. The Void flip over was awesome. It basically was like, okay, I have the play line of Annihilus, or I have the play line of Sersi. If I don't top deck my Annihilus, I got my Sersi play. I can flip the board around. It was pretty interesting from that standpoint. I do think this card will get better with Erisham coming out, because now those 6 costs that get played on top of will transform into Erisham. Although, I mean, accidentally changing like a Magneto into an Erisham is actually a net loss, I'll add.
That won't happen too much. Accidental wise, that won't happen as much. What I like about that is there's a lot of low cost power 6s, right? So your leader can be upgraded to much more power with no effect, which is huge too. You don't have an Arnim Zola effect messing you up. You just have it go to that power. So I agree with you there. The craziest thing I had, it wasn't the craziest, but one that I loved is I had a Spider Ham go to an armor, and then I had a 3 cost go to a Tuma, and I was like, synergy. Like, it was so cool to watch that happen. Like, protected the other randomized card. Yeah, I mean, I also think we got carried away with like, the Brood and making them all. I think even just a couple cards is awesome for her.
I never pulled off a single Brood combo, not once.
No.
Like, even though I had it in a bunch of my decks, it just never really worked out that way. One thing I found is that one of the most popular cards in the game right now, one of the best cards in the game right now, is White Widow. White Widow was being played very often against me, and I kind of sat there thinking, I'm just going to flip that. Like, I'm just going to flip it into something, right? Which I thought was pretty cool. The card, man, like, It's had some interesting competitive results, but I don't know if I would ever lean on this card in a, like, I don't know if I would ever take this to like a money tournament or something like that. Like, I
I
just
probably
don't
would.
think.
It,
Really?
I would if I was the best player in the tournament. I wouldn't, but because I'm not, I want that extra edge, like of that shot. And so I played her day one in Darkhawk with the Annihilus package, right? Because you had two different cards doing what they do: the Korg, the Rock Slide, the Hood, the Sentry. They do what they do, and then you simply can finish off with Sersi, and that felt great. It felt like an alternative of I'm winning and killing, or I'm losing, but I could win if I just played her down on the Rock Slide and the core. I enjoyed that shell a ton, man.
So I was playing her primarily in a Annihilus Space shell as well, and then I switched over to a Baron Zemo shell with with cable and like kind of that like disruption based list. I even ran Yondu, and I had so much fun. And I ended up climbing. I climbed quite a bit. Like I was in the top 1K playing this. I was the only one playing Baron Zemo, and like it was like, man, I'm actually having so much fun. I'm blowing up their cards with Yondu. I'm stealing stuff. I'm playing their stuff down and then Cerseiing it. It was wild what was happening, and the cube rate wasn't like excessive. Like it's not like I wasn't climbing as fast as I could have with like a more refined list. But dude, I had a smile on my face the whole time. The card was a highlight machine, and I don't know, man. I had this thought. It was like this one of these shower thoughts. I'm like, I just wish a card like this was more accessible because it could potentially be competitive. I'm not saying it's not. I think it has potential, well, no doubt. Just the potential you saw originally, I kind of got flashes of. But at the end of the day, it's like, man, this needed like that demo mode we talked about, where like you get, like, imagine on every single new release, there was like a deck in like the shop, like the demo deck that you got to queue with, and you got 10 games with it, and it had Sersi and like Glenn or whoever at Second Dinner designed. What a great idea, man, to just get those reps in. People are like, you know what, I do like this card, it's so fun. I bet you would have sold more of these cards, more resources would have been spent, blah blah blah, right? And people would have had a chance to try it instead of FOMOing into it and being like, oh man, whatever. This card playing it was an absolute blast, man. I actually love this card in all the ways I didn't think I was going to.
The state that we're at in Snap too, like it's just have fun, It's like, yeah, you could add one more competitive card to your collection or have one that really has you enjoying the game more. And I think a lot of people want that. So I agree. Super fun, super chaotic. One of the more crazy cards that we've had, bud.
Yeah. So so you're landing at like a 3.5?
Probably. And probably a 3. Probably a 3 for now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good at 3.5. Like I think it's better than I originally anticipated. Honestly, it's way more fun than I expected, and I do think this card ultimately probably still skippable though. Like honestly, like I'm just gonna be honest with you. If you're out there and you're like you're grinding tokens and grinding spotlight keys with Erishim coming, and the next month it actually looks pretty fire, especially from a spotlight perspective, man. Some of the spotlight caches are really legit,
really good.
It definitely feels potentially skippable, just like Makari.
Oh boy, yeah, it would save up your tokens.
This is way better than Makari, though.
Yes. Oh my gosh, not even close. And they synergize. So if you want to go full copium, it's like, okay, get the Makari, get the Sersi, man. Yeah, good time with her, and definitely, I think I saw that across the board. Most people had just a fun time playing her as a card.
Yeah, from a win rate perspective, by the way, she's currently running approximately a low 50% win rate, so 50-51. However, there are one or two decks that are outliers that are running like in the 56-57 range. So I still think there's going to be some brewing out there for Sersi. So Cozy, maybe your original prediction might be right.
Which is surprising, dude, for a random card to be in the 50s, like even that, like because of just the games you can lose for you, But love to hear it, man.
That takes us to our next topic of conversation, which is the best cards in Marvel Snap right now. We're going to be doing it at every single cost. We're going to be talking about the best cards at 1 through 6 cost. And these cards are the most meta impactful currently, taking some statistics from the latest patch and from our play experiences as players. We'd also be very interested in your comments down below as to which cards you are thinking are the best cards at every single cost. Something I really love reading. Cozy, we're going to get started at number 1. Cost 1. Now, this is a card that I had to warm up to. And when we talk about Sersi's randomness, no one does randomness quite like Nico Monaru. And at a 20% of the meta, this card is most certainly one of the most flexible cards in Marvel Snap. And I have really come around to loving this card, which I know you've always loved. I'm a little late to the train, Cozy, but high five, my man. I'm there too.
It's one of the most important I think you can add to your collection. I'm going to stand by it. It teaches you. Remember, like you used to play Sarah Control because it taught you a lot of things. I think she kind of teaches you a lot of things too, of like what you can do and just thinking more, behind the strategy of what your deck can do. She adds a new element to it. I would agree. I'm gonna come up with I don't have notes on my list, and I like this. I want to kind of think about what I play. I would definitely have her at the top of the one cost in my personal list. So who do you have as like the runner up to her?
Yeah, so the way I do it is I always pick a runner-up in case Cozy picks my number
Right.
one. My runner-up at 18% of the meta, how can we not talk about Kitty Pryde? Like, Kitty Pryde is literally carrying right now. But what's interesting about Kitty Pryde is that it's not about Kitty herself. Kitty's power generation is not all that impressive. She gets to, what, maybe 4,
Right.
5 at best? But, of course, with Elsa, she gets a little higher, but that's because Elsa's there. And then, but you got to consider, what is she giving to Angela? What is she giving to Athena? All these different things. Kitty Pryde is the ultimate activator in Marvel Snap, and for that reason, she's one of the absolute best one drops.
For sure. I think people get hung up that like, oh, she get past like a 7. It's like, but Hope Summers, what you've just stated, it's such a huge activator for that deck and that archetype. We just talked about how it's just tough to even rank that archetype. I think I'd probably have Kitty right there. I still think Nebula does what she does best. It's hard to not have her in the conversation.
Yeah, but the problem with Nebula is that Kitty Pryde's everywhere, man.
Yeah,
like,
right.
just play the Nebula, like Nebula's sitting there and she's just getting pumped by Kitty over and over and over again.
Yep, dude. I think 1 was easy. 2 is by far the hard. Dude, there are so many 2-cost cards that could go as one of the best in the cost. Like this is the hardest by far.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I'm just going to say special mention. Didn't actually get written down on my notes here, but Athena, I think, is too new to really take that coveted spot. But how absolutely cracked is this card, man?
I mean, she's in the conversation. No question, dude. She's so good, man. She's so good. But is she better than the other ones we mentioned? I don't know. I don't even know who you have, but
Take a guess, man. Come on.
Okay, so
who's the cutest mofo in Marvel Snap?
Right here. I think.
Okay, she's also the 2, but okay, that's my runner-up.
So I think Jeff went down because of the Pro X thing. I would have had him in there 2 days ago. I don't have him in there as much anymore. I'm like, dude, like number 3, number 3 or 4. But I don't. Hey, listen, I'm not like shocked he's in there. I'm not shocked he's in there. Super valuable. Move cards are just super valuable, and 2 or 3 great stats. I just don't think because of how competitive this tier is that I would have him as my 1 and 2 personally.
For the audio listeners, Cozy's flashing White Widow on the screen, and man, I would agree. White Widow's 22% of the meta right now, which is pretty damn impressive. I'm seeing it absolutely everywhere. But Jeff the Baby Landshark, Cozy, it is absolutely the best 2-drop in the game. This is the card every single deck can just start with. Oh, I'm building a new deck. Well, we just got to start with Jeff, right? Like, you can just do that with every single deck in the game. In fact, here's an absolutely bonkers stats. According to Untapped, these are the most recent statistics with the latest patch. Jeff is in 35% of infinite decks. 35%. And from my understanding, that's currently the highest in the game, Cozy. So how dare you disrespect the Baby Landshark?
I know. It's like, dude, 2 is so coveted that spot. It's just such a crazy. It's so funny that I can just glaze over Zabu now. Like back in the day, we'd always just exactly. Yeah, it came in the game at some point. I don't quite remember, but yeah, dude, a lot of contention there. I'd probably have like right now in the meta that I'm in, White Widow, Athena, man. But don't sleep on cards like Mysterio. Even Agent in the right decks is absolute craziness, bro. He can do a lot. And then obviously Angela. There's again, it's tight at the top.
2 costs was one of the hardest ones to do, and like I want to give a special shout out to Pixie. Like, Pixie's not a card that I personally like get a lot of cube equity with, but this is another card that you were high on, and we had to grow into it, right? Pixie's really damn good, and talk about how like they play Pixie and they snap. I'm like, oh god, what are they gonna do? Like, I get so damn nervous, and I often get my cheeks absolutely clapped.
Dude, between Iron Lad and Pixie, those are the 2 like cards that I probably got roasted the most for liking. Man, I think Pixie deserves to be in a lot of like a ton of value there, and is such a brain dead easy. Like, am I gonna win or not? Like, if you want just kind of like a lazy deck to win, they can make her a 2-0. They're not going to, but they could. And it's just like, okay, it's already gonna do what it did, and that's what I love about her and her synergy. Playing her on 2 feels good all the time. I like Pixie. I do.
It's kind of funny how like we talk about getting roasted. You get roasted for cards you like. I get roasted for cards I don't like very often. They're like, Alex, damn you! You said Cannonball was bad.
You? Oh, all the time.
Yeah, I know. It's like
all
It
the time.
was bad, man. It was bad. And then the meta shifted. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Our tier list.
There's also people that don't like watch our updated reviews. They just watch like our first kind of segment and they don't like pick up and they're like, well, sometimes this is better than we expected. And people are like, Alex, you said that, whatever. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, you just can't win.
Right, dude. We spoiled a bit from the 3-cost tier list over on my side, but it's got to be the Hope. Yeah, it's got to be Hope.
Yeah, Hope Summers is incredible. Like, this card is so damn good. And yes, it's another kitty card, and some of it's not even just another kitty card. Do you know who I play most on Hope Summers? It's Sarah. Because then you got everything dropped down by 1 cost, but you have 7 energy. That lets you sneak in that abs man. Oh, that abs man with the double surfer all the way across the sky. So intense. I mean, listen, I just absolutely love Hope Summers, and I mean, I can't. This has to be one of the best season pass cards they're released, because not only is it really good, but it doesn't feel like it's breaking the game. Does that make sense? Like, it's not like it doesn't need to get nerfed.
No, I don't feel like it does. Like, it just is a good card, and I have to adjust like my game plan a little bit when I'm going up against it. I don't play her as much as I should, though. I really don't. I don't play her as much as I should, and that's mainly because like I don't know. It's kind of narrow in some of her stuff, but yeah, just stupid good. Stupid good.
I want to make an argument for 2 other cards. Okay. And I couldn't decide between either of them. Both of them are recent cards, but Nocturne and Red Guardian. I think that they're both really good right now. Nocturne running a 17% meta rate, Red Guardian a 16% meta rate. I don't think they're as good as Hope Summers overall. Like, I think Hope is above them. But I do think they're in the conversation for being surprisingly versatile cards. I like Red Guardian more. Nocturne still just hates me. Like, it has that Scarlet Witch style, like, oh no, you thought you're not going to get screwed? I saw suggestions in the comments, by the way, when we were joking about Nocturne. Who was like, move her on 5, don't wait till turn 6, so that you have a chance to respond, man. Like, don't wait till turn 6, it will ruin you, and you'll be very upset. At least by turn 5, you can, like, retreat, or you can be like, oh, okay, whatever, right? But I think that Red Guardian has really aged well, especially with Thena doing what she is.
We got to go by the tier list, I feel like, though. I get it. I definitely get it. I see why you like those. I would probably have, for me, I look at my play rate, and that's why I have Storm so high. I just think she just does what she does and just feels super reliable there. So it's hard for me not to say a card like Storm. But yeah, for me, it's Hope Summers, and there's a big drop-off. Not a big one, but that's definitely like the clear-cut number 1. Yeah. But yes, I definitely I get the argument.
Yeah, the Hope Summers is clear-cut the number 1 of the 3 cost. As we go into 4, now there are some usual suspects here. Now you'd think that maybe we can find. Listen, Sentry got nerfed, and Iron Lad's still good. Jubilee's good with Blink, but at the end of the day, at 20% of the meta, Shang-Chi still has one of the highest win rates in Marvel Snap. And if you are to think that Shang-Chi is not a good card, he's frustrating, I get it, but this is a card that absolutely steals cubes. One of the highest cube rates in the game. People play like Shang-Chi doesn't exist, and they don't protect cards. They're not playing Kyra. They're not playing Armors, not playing Cosmos. I'm seeing chonky-ass cards sitting in locations just chinning up to Shang-Chi, and it just does not work that way.
Yeah, he's always going to be there in the conversation, no question. It would be impossible not to put him up there in the list. I mean, after him, what did you have as the runners-up? Because I have a couple that I think are obviously still spicy.
Now, this is crazy. So Shang-Chi's 20% of the meta, but at 7%, I still think Loki deserves respect. I think that in the hands of an incredibly capable and well-seasoned Loki player, this is still one of the best archetypes in the game. There's no question that like just playing your cards at a more efficient rate is better. I think that a truly efficient Loki player and someone who's knowledgeable with the meta will be able to know like, okay, hold on, I'm against a Destroy player. Should I even play Loki? Should I play it on 4 or 5? Like, I think that once you start to get more of a understanding of what you're against, what the meta is, you can better anticipate when your best Loki plays are. I think this card is incredibly high skill cap and still deserves respect, despite the fact that it's dropping in meta share.
I'm just waiting for Quinjet to be in more decks because it's like the most identifiable deck is when you get that Quinjet on turn 1. But I agree. Yeah, Loki, single-weightedly, there's no question he's in there. I will stand by Iron Lad. I still think he does what he does to such a great degree in my personal list there. And my shout-out, this is not towards like the top end. I think Miss Marvel is just underplayed. I get it. It's hard to get her thing a bit more, but I just think she's underplayed. She's still such a good freaking card, a pure power potential.
What hurt Miss Marvel was all the junk. It's
Yeah,
the White Widows. It's all that the
that's
Annihilus
fair.
kicking stuff
That's
over,
fair.
right? That's kind of what did it in, I think. And Debris. I mean, you just finished talking up Debris. I couldn't talk you down off Debris. Like, you are borderline dating Debris at this point. Like, we're adding now it's a legit love triangle. We got Arrow, we got Jean Grey, we got
Put
Debris
her in like
in there.
what,
They're all
top of
fighting.
B tier over here? Yeah, dude, she's good.
Put in top of B tier. I couldn't believe. No, you drove. No, at the
I
end.
have her in A. She's an A.
Yeah,
She's at
you
low A.
drove. You didn't even ask me why. You're like, I'm just pushing her to A, Alex. F you. And
We
I'm like,
swapped
okay,
her
well,
with
F me, I guess.
Spider-Man. We swapped her. You said sounds good. He's gaslighting me. No, I Debris I think is low A. I still think it. But yes, Junk did hurt Miss Marvel a fair amount, and there's a bit more of control there. Like, it's not as bad as it used to be, but again, shout out to an underrated card in my opinion.
Absolutely. And number 5, I mean, there's 2 clear-cut cards here. There are 2 clear-cut cards. At 24% of the meta, we have the one that gives the paddle in, the Amsterdam mistress herself, Mockingbird. Mockingbird is unbelievable. This card is so good, and it's incredible in Gilgamesh. Like, how amazing is this card with Gilgamesh? It's amazing in Thanos. Thanos is making a comeback, by the way. It's not on our list yet, but it's making... We're almost there, guys. And Mockingbird's going to be in those decks. Mockingbird might be one of the absolute... If you're going to do a whole tier list of every single card in the game, it's got to be near the top.
It's crazy how many freaking good 5-costs there are. There's so many, and the best 2 came out in the last 3 months. Like, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And Mockingbird is well, hold up. Because there's 2 other ones. I'm curious now who you have on your list. Mockingbird's obviously here. Who's the next one?
My next one was Annihilus at 9% of the
Fair
meta.
enough. I think Blink's in the conversation just as much. But yes.
Oh, for sure, man.
Yeah. Annihilus, but very not one-dimensional because he just needs a couple cards around him. But he's just such a good counter to... I would probably have... Oh, man, Blink and him, they do different things. But yeah, those 3 control the 5-cost slot.
There's no doubt, man. There's no doubt about it. I still remember when Annihilus's launch week came out, be like, oh, this card's mid and all this. I'm like, no, man, this card is so good. You guys just wait. I remember us having a conversation on Snapchat. We're like, this card is rough right now because people are teching for it.
Yeah.
And Annihilus has just been so good. But I like to call on Blink, too. Blink's such a great enabler.
Blink, Gilgamesh is cracked now. Darkhawk is Darkhawk. 5s have a lot of strong cards around them. But yeah, Iron Man, bro, good God. Yes.
Vision, it's just so good.
Yeah, it's crazy. Five to me feels like as important as 6 should be. And speaking of 6, there's some pretty clear-cut winners on this list, but we did have some, OTA changes to spice up some stuff. What do you have at the top?
I want you to lead 6, man.
Okay, yeah. So for me, I would say, like, if you're not looking at plug-and-play potential and all that good stuff, I'm still a big lover of the Doctor Doom. Like, to me, it's very hard to just get rid of a card of that stature, in my opinion. Yeah, man, on the spot here, what do I like at dude, I mean, Hella's been doing the Hella thing. Red Hulk does the Red Hulk thing. For me, though, at this given moment, I think Ultron is so freaking crazy. Like, he's just so... Yeah, Patriot Ultron, and that's where our minds think, but the guy's just good stats around the board.
Yeah, no, Ultron's definitely fantastic right now. There's no question. And it's funny because right now at the 6 costs, it feels like they're way more balanced, especially with the change to Red Hulk, right? Red Hulk currently occupying 13% of the meta, still a very strong card, but it doesn't feel like it's that much far ahead. And for the same reason why you would pick something like a Doctor Doom, and I love Ultron, I think the change to Ultron's been so good.
Yep.
I still lean towards my favorite being Magneto. 9% of the meta, you just cannot go wrong with this card. Are you ever disappointed in playing Magneto? Like, it is just so damn good. And it makes hella decks, it makes like value decks, it's just everywhere. And I think this is legitimately one of the best cards in the game.
Mainly because, like, forever the decks that don't dip in archetype value, like Destroy, depend on 3 and 4s, and he just handles those decks, right? Like, and he gives you the power. It's just Magneto is, yes, a very, very freaking good card. This is a bit off topic, but I feel like Sasquatch got so dumped on when he came out, and I don't know why. I think Sasquatch is such a cool card. He's not as good as She-Hulk, but I think he's good.
Which is good, but you know what the problem is? I think that Mockingbird's just better.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Sasquatch is good. Yeah, of course, but like, I wonder, man. I think Sasquatch can get more power. And then, because if you think 5/9 on Mockingbird and the effect is persistent based on what your board state is, whereas with Sasquatch, you have to dump it on that prior turn. Sasquatch, I think, should be a 6/12, and then we're talking. I'm just throwing it out there. I still think the card's good.
Oh, dude, that'd be
6/12,
nuts.
I
That'd be
know it would be nuts,
nuts.
but like I'm just saying right now, man, Mockingbird's a 5'9".
You could play it on turn 3 with a Mysterio.
Then why wouldn't you? Then get Shang-Chi right in the face.
All right, dude. Yeah, that I think they both coexist. But yes, he just got kind of, I don't know, kind of dumped on a little bit for what he does. But yeah, those definitely feel like the strongest in the 6 cost department.
What do you think about the new Thanos? Like just generally?
I like him, dude. I was playing the hell out of him. I thought he was a lot of fun and not as like, you know what I like about him is it feels like I'm back at my roots where Thanos could be played anywhere because he has his own self-sustaining thing going on. There's so many cards that help him out that you need to put in there. But people are still trying to figure out the best way to get the guy going. The Professor X change kind of hurt him a bit because he had that niche that he could do, go into the X lane or whatever. But he's fun. The biggest problem is Spider-Ham single-handedly destroys Thanos.
Yeah, it sucks, but I really like that they're making Thanos about Thanos again.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
Originally, playing Thanos wasn't even about playing Thanos. It was about like, oh, I'm using the Time Stone to cheap beat BS out. No, Professor X, this and that. I'm happy playing him now. This deck feels like it was always supposed to be this way. I think it still needs some additional refinement, but we're on the right path. It feels like we're on the right path.
I want them to take the Mind Stone down to 1 and give it potentially even 0 power. Just like if they brought that down to 1 and gave you no power, but it's just a draw. I like that. I like that for the card. I think we're gone away from the old Thanos, and I want to see what happens there. But I just felt like it felt so good during that time. And now that the Soul Stone isn't what it is, I don't know. I just feel like it's so important to get those stones, and the Mind Stone being 2, it can hurt.
Yeah, no kidding. I totally agree 100%. And that takes us to the Snapchat mailbag. We are zooming through the Snapchat here today, Cozy. And we've got a question, and I love this one because, Cozy, it's about Costco. What is your favorite item from the Costco food court?
Dude, what a question. Pizza, man. The Costco pizza slabs.
Really? Pizza? You're going with pizza?
What is it, dude? We got like 3 options here. It's like the pizza. There's those rolls that I always regret getting. What do you like? What do you got?
What the hell? You're not seeing the Costco hot dog? This is absolutely ridiculous. Have you ever been to a Costco? What is wrong with you?
I don't attend the church of Costco like you do. Like I'm like a, they call the Creasters that go to Christmas and Easter services. Like I like, maybe I'm that for Costco. I go to Costco, but also Costco here, man, is like the equivalent of like that movie with Will Smith and the zombies. It's just like, I'm trying to survive, bro. I'm just trying to get in, and it's not like I picked, that's your bliss, bro. It's not my bliss. It's just not.
Is that Hitch you're talking about?
No. What did I play? I Am Legend.
Oh, I've never seen that one.
You can pass. It's not like it didn't hold up. But just it was a zombie movie. But yeah, I'm not okay. So hot dogs.
No, I'll be honest with you. So I do like the hot dog, but I do feel really bad after I eat it. I'm like, why did I do that to myself? I'll tell you what we get the most often. We do get the ice cream because my kids want it. And what we do is we don't get the sundaes. We get the ice cream cups, and they take the cone and they put them upside down in the cups, and my kids love it. My kids absolutely love it. And one thing that's one of my favorite things, by the way, and this is ridiculous, but like I'm on the Costco subreddit all the time. And people post pictures of like Costco's all over the world. And one of my favorite things was like, this is, in Japan, this is the food court in Japan. It's like sushi and stuff. I'm like, oh man, it's so awesome. And then they post stuff in like Mexico and it's totally different. I'm like, I love that, man. I just love it.
I kid you not, when I was with Alex in person, he like pulls his wallet out and his like black Costco card's like laminated. It has like, got like gold stickers on it for like customer of the month. They must love you over there. I'm actually going to go to my San Diego Costco and be like, have you heard of Alex Coccia? Like, yeah. We all have. He's a legend.
Yeah, you'd think that they like sponsor this podcast based on how often the Costco comes up. I even wear the Kirkland signature shirt every once in a while.
Godly. What a way to open up the mailbag. A little Costco love. Okay. Question 2.
All right, let's bring it to actual Marvel Snap here. Do you think Thana should have been the season pass card and Gilgamesh should have been the spotlight card? Now, notably, this was before the buff and change this question was asked, but it kind of brings an interesting question to mind. Like, how do they pick the season pass cards versus the spotlight cards? Could Thana have been switched with Gilgamesh, Cozy?
I think Thena's more narrow by design. So, like, same as Gilgamesh. Like, probably. I think you really want to make things go wild. I think you have Airsham as the season pass card. Just give everyone a super fun card that completely eradicates and changes the way you play the game.
I agree with that 100%. The reason why I would have leaned towards Gilgamesh being the correct choice is that it's a card that can go into even early pool decks. We're talking about Zoo being the best place for him right now, right? Like, why the hell wouldn't you give that to a Pool 1 player who's just starting out?
But Airship would be so cool because then you're giving players in Pool 1 access to random cards, which I think is also kind of cool.
Yeah, I know, but then they won't buy the actual cards.
Well, Loki was Season Pass, so...
I know. I still think if they're going to do, like, new player catch-up bundles...
It's a new quota. Well, this is our quota now.
Loki.
We have this. This is in our quotas of, like, Loki should be a cheap Pool 1 card. Alex, you hit it. You checked it off.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. As the next question comes in, why does it feel like the whole community, even the whales, silently agree on not interacting too much with the collectible borders? How could that system be improved to be more attractive to us? And Cozy, I like this question because you just finished flashing a Thanos with a red cosmic border on the screen. It did look pretty damn nice, I gotta tell you.
1 of 3.
Cozy, what do you think about the collectible borders?
1 of 3 that I have. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week with the roadmap, I think. Yeah, wait for it. I hate them. I mean, I don't hate them. I just think they should go in the caches, right? Like, put them at a 1% rate, 2% rate, and the whole, like, I think they introduced them like, well, if people want to buy them, let them buy them. I think it's cool to have things that are hard to get and rare to get, and like you play the game and you get rewarded as such. And so, you know, I think I think it's fun to see like a guy have all blue borders or whatever. But it would be cool to have like a blue border, and it would be more, if they didn't buy it, it'd be more like, oh wow, look at that, they got that from whatever. I think that's the easy fix to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that it should be achievable in the collection track. I mean, that is such an easy win for everybody playing this game, and like the collection track is so integral to the entire experience of Marvel Snap. That would be such a huge improvement. And I've not bought one yet. I do think the new Cosmic ones are awesome. Whoever the artist that worked on that, by the way, so good, man. They're so well done. I really like the blue one, by the way. It just works with every card. The contrast is really nice.
Yeah.
But I have a couple like God splits that I've thought about putting them on. I'm like, no, can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I've refused to buy it, but I might crack eventually just for 1 or 2 cards.
I think I have Arrow, Pixel Coulson, and that Thanos. Those are the 3 that I have.
Oh, well, the Pixel Coulson, you have to.
It's
so that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
All right. Our next question comes from Spy Star. This will probably never happen, but do you think that Second Dinner will ever release a dozen cards at once like they did in 2022? Also, do you think Firestar will resurface?
Hot take. Take a whole month off and fix some core things of the game, and then release a bunch in like 10 cards in 1 month.
So you're saying don't do any spotlights, just fix the game and then release a whole bunch of cards like they did with the She-Hulk one?
Season pass card. Don't release anything else that month. Work on some UI performance fixes, if you will, whatever. Next month, you double it up.
Bro, then what the hell are we going to talk about?
No, dude, Costco.
Oh, it's done. Sold. Make it happen. Ben, bro, thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate you, and we'll see you on that next Snapchat episode.